I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a gruesome, filthy, disgusting, putrid death metal world.
Sucks to be dead. My name is Rick, and these are the Dreadful Minutes. No, I'm not going all Spacetron on you. You probably noticed I'm wearing these things. So, just a pro tip. If you're going to be up till the sun rises again doing late night streaming, which I've been doing with the guys during the weekends, a little thing called your circadian rhythm is going to be thrown off, and your whole fucking sleep schedule is just going to be shot for the week if you don't do something to address it. So these little blue blockers have been helping me, for a little bit. So what I recommend doing is do the stream that weekend, and then the next day, or should I say the next night, put something like this on through the night, and this will help reset things, because all that blue light hitting you is going to fucking just completely destroy your ability to just handle things going back to a regular schedule. So that was that. Definitely recommend it. You could turn on the blue light on your devices, but you're still walking around with LED lights and shit everywhere in the meantime, so it's still hitting your eyes. Only disclaimer is, if you've been wearing this a while and you suddenly take it off, you feel the blast, just these daggers hitting your eyeballs, and that's how much it's been hitting you just normal walking every day. So if you got those lights blasting you at nighttime, it's no fucking wonder you just feel like a zombie the next day. So that's been my little PSA. So this video is going to be just a good old-fashioned collection update. So I'm happy to say I've gotten my Black Friday shit arriving. Then you're going, but it's January. Yes. Thank you, U.S. Postal Service. The stuff that I ordered in November is finally here, trickling in. I'm still waiting for stuff from Hell's Headbangers. I'm still waiting for stuff from, name escapes me. The stuff from Stormspell just came yesterday. Yeah, again, Black Friday. It's really hot in here. I'm thirsty as shit. So I got this Liquid Death sparkling water from the Austrian Alps. So I spent the extra 80 cents. Maybe there's something special about it, but something tells me it's just regular water. Let's find out. Tastes just like water. But it did murder my thirst. Alright, so let's get on with it. So for this video, I'm going to show some stuff that came in from Nuclear War Now. To not make this video too long, so I'm just going to show some of the more prominent stuff that I've ordered. And also from Bind Rune Recordings. Bind Rune ran a 20% off sale during that weekend, which was awesome. I was able to kind of fill the gap with some stuff that I wanted, and some new things that I didn't have in my collection at all. So I thought it'd be a good way to start. So before I dive in to the Nuclear War Now and Bind Rune, which I'm also going to talk about some other miscellaneous little things that trickled in that I thought you should know about. I'm going to do 2 shout outs. You know, it's what I do, right? So first, it's a band, or should I say a one-man project, so it seems, from Florida. So he's got a single on Bandcamp, and the name is, oh, disc almost wanted to come out there, Spread the Shadows. And here's a nice little figure there. The single is called The Crossing. So there's the Bandcamp page, and He plans to drop an EP sometime soon. So this is why it's just a single for now, and it came in his little sleeve. But you don't have to buy the sleeve. I mean, he's got the track up on the Bandcamp page. It's really kick-ass death metal. This one track has a little bit of everything. It's got the melodic stuff. It's got the brutal blast drumming. I mean, it's got the riffs. It's got everything. Here's the disc. Pretty sick if you can make out that drawing, which is basically this in the back, kind of just blown up, and the color kind of taken out. So check it out. I'll leave a link. Spread the shadows, and keep an eye out on this. I feel like, which I think it's also a Cuban fellow who is behind this project. It goes by the name of Rami, something like that. Rami. Really cool. Another one is Feather. So, as you all know, Justin, Vesteban's Blood Box, dropped 2 tracks for the Feather, still going under that moniker. Now, you are probably familiar with this. So, this is his dungeon synth project, The Unwakeable Dream. And the 2 new tracks, this came out last year, the 2 new tracks are not dungeon synth like this is. Again, still going by that name. The 2 new tracks, which goes under the name The Call. Very inspiring, acoustic driven, very soulful, folky kind of song. Again, this guy's so multi-talented. Justin, I don't know how you do it, man. But despite the fact it's going under the name Feather, don't be under the impression it's dungeon synth. It's really good stuff. I'll leave a link. I threw a few bucks his way and really enjoyed what he had to kind of just, play with those tracks. It really hit me here. And the year that 2020 was, I think that songs like these really hit home. And I found it quite motivating and moving. So good job, Justin. Thought you guys should know. So again, I'll leave a link. First thing is a band from Salt Lake City, Utah. Yeah. And this is a band called Baphomet. So Baphomet came out with this, I guess it's a demo or an EP. I think Metal Archives calls it a demo. So it's like 4 tracks. And this is a little peculiar. So to give you a little context. So here's the cover. This light's not helping, is it? So let me just move that over so you can see that. No, still didn't do anything. Here's the 4 tracks. This came out in 1987, and here's the insert. Lyrics. And I was scratching my head about this one. There are several bands with this name. This one from 1987 out of Salt Lake City was pretty easy to narrow down. So anyway, you have to really realize that Salt Lake City over in Utah, just that state in general, especially back at the time like 87, very heavily religious, still is. So right underneath their noses, this sort of heathenistic band was operating among them. And I'm just floored that this material was out there at that time. To describe this, it's kind of like what the South American Cogumelo Records was doing with those kind of bands. It has a bit of that sort of South American kind of gruffness to it. But as far as the riffing and the playing, I would almost say like it's almost what Morbid, Dead's band sounded like at the time. It was a little bit of I want to say Poison from Germany. So you mix those elements, it sounds pretty sexy, right? Yeah. So these guys must have been listening to some of that while all that stuff was going on, because Salt Lake City, I would imagine these guys were pretty removed from everything else going on in the metal scene at the time. So very peculiar release. I had to know what this was, so snapped it up. Glad I did. As far as the record, it actually let me pull it up here. So give me this neat little label. So it's just black. There you go. Don't worry, I'm not going to do that with every black record. You know what black looks like. So, next up is pretty cool little project. The fella behind Monarch, Bardenor, has this project called, now it's probably Ours, O-U-R-S, I want to say Ours, La Source Magnifique, and now Ours means bear. It's probably why you see that bear paw there. And there's like a, what looks like a Wendigo, I believe, right there. So they're out of Quebec. So this whole thing is in obviously French. So what does that mean? I can't tell you what any of it means. It's all I can do is just focus on the music. So here's the insert. It's just black and white. So I'm gonna make it really easy. If you like Howled and Brood, this is a no-brainer. You need to snatch this up. Now, does it sound exactly like Howled and Brood? No. I mean, there's flute in here. This is almost like a really tight, deep forest version of Howled and Brood. Whereas Howled and Brood may lean more towards that open, mountainy, spacey kind of stuff, with some of that spread and woodsy kind of feeling. This is very deep in the forest, very mystical, kind of supernatural almost at times. Again, I can't read the lyrics, so I don't know as far as the content goes. I could just go by the music. But from what I heard, there's some interesting things going on here. The vocals is not really anything prominent here. There's looks like some clean spoken things happening here and there and whatnot. But they make every effort to do something unique with every song. So Nuclear War Now, as of the making of this video, still has copies of this. Here's the thing. It looks like only 100 of these were made, and 25 were reserved for wooden box packaging. Now, Nuclear War Now did not offer the wooden box version of this, so I was only able to snatch up just the regular vinyl. But again, if you go by the regular vinyl, it's really only 75 available. So, and I imagine even less now. So I wouldn't sleep on this one. This is a really good listen. And if you like that kind of atmospheric black metal with some interesting things going on, check out Ours before it's gone. Next, it's a new one for me, and this is now I was almost going to say French black metal, but they are from France, and they are called Nehema. And pull this out here. It's a gatefold. Here you go. That fucking bulb is gonna bug the shit out of me. So there you go. There's that sigil. It's almost like a compass. You got north, south, east, west. Thankfully, it's in English. I can read the content going on here. Really cool. I just like the overall presentation of this. So, Nehema. The album's called Requiem Tenebrae. Or Tenebrae, I guess is how you say it. And it's a double LP. So again, black vinyl. But with this one, side D, that's a cool little etching. So let me go ahead and pull this out. Fucking badass, huh? So, not really an etching. It's more like a silk screen under or whatever. I don't know what you call it, but whatever it is, it's pretty cool. So, the reason I don't want to call it French black metal is because you don't hear it in this, not even in their other releases. So this is the last release out of 3 full lengths that they pulled out. So this came out in 2004. And turn the light back on. There you go. And they have basically picked up the sounds of what the Scandinavian guys were doing. So you have a lot of that sort of immortal Dark Throne kind of elements thrown in there. But I want to say they're more mid-paced. And they kind of stay there. They're not all about the super blast beats. They're not about sounding like, the fastest parts of Immortal or anything like that. But you do still hear the influences in there. Now, the reason I say this is because take what I just told you, what the sound is like, and the reason they stay mid-paced is just by looking at the cover. And you see all this right here? That's a nebula. And the whole theme of this album kind of just stays there. Even looking at the name of the tracks, Through the Dark Nebula, Conscious and Evil, In the Midst of Orion's Sword. I mean, so the music feels very much that way, like just this cold, sort of cloudy element, just kind of shrouding you. And this is pretty much, I think, what they accomplished with their sound and the feel of what this record is like. Really cool. I don't think Nuclear War now has any more copies of this as far as last time I checked. So I was really happy and lucky to at least grab this one. But if you find any more copies of this around, it's definitely worth checking out. This is a band that's no longer active. So again, it's not something that you have to really worry too much about, trying to fill all the gaps, because it's just the 3 full lengths. But, really happy to have this. So next, is Roots. Many of you know Roots. I'm not going to go too much into it. It's metal from the Czech Republic. Now, if you're not familiar with Root, they've been around a long time. The guy who leads the band goes by the name of Big Boss. So there he is right there. Every one of these photo ops, he's always like the oldest guy in the group, right? He's like the Mick Mars of the group. It's like, the one who kind of calls the shots and knows what he's doing. It's in some way or form. Interpret that how you will. So, this album, The Book, came out in, I believe, 1999. And the album that came before it did not do much for me at all. It just, I don't know. I got kind of bored with it. So in my eyes, this album is a redeeming album, I think, for me. And they did quite a bit to change the sound and kind of stayed that way up to today. Now, they don't play what you call black metal in the kind of sense that you'd think of the way other bands do. One, being from the Czech Republic, they're already quite different. They don't sound like Master's Hammer or Tor or other bands who were around as long as they have. These guys are more in that, operate more in that sort of grandiose opera style, but more of that baritone opera, not that soprano King Diamond type of opera. They do a lot to do really interesting things with their sound. So I'm just really happy to have this one. This is the only a vinyl that I have of theirs other than Hell Symphony, which is also really good and a much earlier release than this one. And that was definitely more leans towards that more metal sound than this one does. But if you're looking for something a little different, you like some atmosphere with your metal, but something that's not quite typical of what you hear that other bands are doing, check out Root. Really cool shit. Alright, so we're going to move on to the Bindrune stuff. Okay, Bind First up, I'm happy to finally get a physical of an Epinephrines album. So I thought it'd be really cool to start with In the Hours Beneath. So here you go. I'm sure many of you have this, have seen this to death, so I'm not going to go too much into it. I just want to say, Jory, the guy behind this, fucking amazing talent. I mean, I listened to this, I'm speechless. So this is the clear with smoke, according to this. I think with the Bind Rune, especially the vinyl, it's just, it never disappoints. I mean, it's like, come on, look at that. They know how to do it. I mean, everything about this is just phenomenal, beautiful. The music's very beautiful. It's not that kind of angry kind of black metal. At times, it just goes into all these. Even looking at the track names, Morning, Chrysanthemum, Through the White, Up the Black Mountain, Ascension, Refuge. Quite uplifting, actually. So there are times this is kind of what I want. You know, it's like, you know, I don't always want something that sounds like Proclamation. You know, this is definitely something that just hits the right spot. You know, when you're in the mood for it. So Epinephrines, really cool, atmospheric, black metal, out of is it Minnesota, Montana? I'm not sure, but it's somewhere there, north of America. You can tell from all the mountainous stuff going on here. Very appropriate. All right, so next one is based on a recommendation. I actually saw Classy Lonnie show this. I believe it's a CD version of this. And Jake from Hymns of My Wake, check out his channel. Said I should check these guys out. So it's The Morning Side, The Wind, the Trees, the Shadows of the Past. Released through Bind Room. And now the thing about this, I've seen this around, but I thought not much from it because it's very unassuming. I mean, look at that. Basically, like a cloudy day, a little dreary. You got that sort of autumn theme going on there. And these guys are from Russia, if I'm not mistaken. And these guys have that very emotive kind of a style of metal. Like it's that I want to say, and this is what people are going to tell you. It sounds like that sort of early era Catatonia. Almost like Last Ferdio Gone Down, Discouraged Ones era kind of Catatonia. And I definitely hear that through their playing. So it's got that sort of depressing, at times really really almost doomy. No, it's actually pretty doomy style going on. Now, the Catatonia comparison, I think, stops with this album. After this, they still retain that style and sound, but the playing kind of removes the association, sounding like they're a bit of a Catatonian clone. I do like that sound, and I like the way this album sounds. So I'll be picking up more from these guys. Really enjoyed it, and I think this is their first full length. This came out in 2007, but I think the vinyl actually dropped a little later. I believe 2009 was when the vinyl was released for this. So there's the label. Pretty cool. Very, very simple, to the point. And next is Skogan. I've talked about these guys before. I got my first Skogan album through one of Marty's VCLT. Thank you, Marty, for that. You've got me on the rabbit hole with these guys. I love Skogan. I love their last album. My only criticism was that I felt like the production needed to be a little more punchy. I felt like I don't know. It was a little quiet in the mix, and that's just what my ears heard. I still enjoyed what I heard. I still enjoyed the all the stuff going on with the album. But this one here, I felt it's a punchier. And this is from 2012. And the other one, Svedjed, I forget what it's called. But it's because it's in Swedish, including this. So this band out of Sweden is came with this nice booklet, which I'll show you in a minute. But it's a gatefold. Here's the cover. It's called Eld. And look what he's doing to that guy there. Little throat action there, huh? And this whole thing feels like it's kind of ritualistic. It has a very different feel from the previous album. It's darker. It's just, even just looking at the imagery there. Really cool packaging. Here you have something that looks like sort of demons riding into the in the sky there. As far as the vinyl, it's a double LP, and it comes in this gold color. Pull it out here. So there you go. Really enjoyed what I heard here. There is some really chaotic moments, really dark moments, even depressing moments. There is a song here, Nihil Sine Morte. To me, this is a DSBM song. I would not expect to have heard something like that coming from a band like this. But that particular track is very fucking suicidal to me. It's, if you're ready to do it, you need a soundtrack to go with it, go with that one. That's definitely, will do the job. Fucking amazing. Love this band, Skulgan. So that's my second vinyl. I plan to pick up more. So, Marty, you got me on the kick with these guys. I think it's pretty good, and the production's much better on this. So I'm gonna move on to some few tapes that I thought you should know about. So let's start with this one. So it's a band out of Phoenix, Arizona, and I did post this on Instagram, but you guys are probably scratching your heads going, what the hell is this? So the band's called Unembalmed. There you go. And it's called The Stench of Suffering. So this little EP dropped last year. So here's the tape. And nothing crazy, just black, white text. And the has a very DIY kind of look to it. Here they are. There's the cover. Now, why am I mentioning these guys? Keep an eye out, because I think they have some really big things going on. These guys have a bright future ahead of them, because last time I checked, they're signed to Suarat Records. Now, you remember Suarat Records because they're Soul Devourment are signed on with these guys, and that particular label, I think it's a rising star. Same way Maggot Stomp, Misako un Ojo. First of all, it's in Spanish. Misako un ojo, right? Which means take my eye out, right? Take out your eye. Everybody says MSUO, which is probably easier and more appropriate. But Misako un ojo. Remember, the J is an H, if you want to say it the right way in Spanish. Just a little PSA. Alright, so Unembalmed, or keep your eye out on them. I'll leave a link. This tape, I think, only had like 100 copies made, self-released at the time. I think before they were on Suara Records. And last I checked, it was still available. So snatch this up while you still can. Even though it might get reissued, but I can't tell you when. Next up is something I picked up from Death Cult Productions. I know, roll your eyes again, because it's probably sold out by now. So here you go. So Paimon. So I don't know how to say it. So this is black metal out of Poland, and this is the only release that I'm aware of, called Abyss of the Ceremonial Blood. And is it Paimon? Maybe it's P-Man? Or Paimon. Again, I don't know how you say it, but Paimon. This, I'm speechless. So there's the tape. Got the little Death Cult logo on there. It's just black. The production on this, punchy, but not too polished. Everything is clear. The riffs are great. Everything is just groovy, catchy, dark, just violence. I mean, it's just definitely worth a listen. Even if you don't think you can get your hands on the physical tape of this, still check it out. I would keep an eye out on this project. This is going to go places. I really love what I heard. So it's got all the tropes of what you expect. You know, you got the whole burning church thing there. You got the dark brooding kind of thing going on there. So pretty neat. Again, coming from Death Cult, these guys usually don't disappoint. I mean, but this in particular, it sounds good, and and into playing is great. So another one to look into. And last but not least, I talked about this before, and that is that band Octagon. And I talked about Sigil of Ram. So here it is. I have the physical tape. It arrived. And, you know, Pest from Golgoroth, who does the vocals for this, very basic presentation. You know, it's just the Octagon logo. And Sigils of Ram. There's no track listing on here. So, you know, Mark Riddick artwork. Awesome as usual. So, we got Mortigan and Pest kind of photographed there. If he was doing that to me, I would think he'd be quite a pest too. So, pretty neat. So, this came out in 2018. 100 copies on tape. Happy to have one of these. So, why am I saying this? Look, if you're watching this and you have a label, Goat Throne Records put this out on tape. This bad eye needs to be reissued. I love what I heard. This is some blackened thrash. I know they went more towards what you call standard fare black metal when the earlier stuff. This still had that thrashy riffing going on with the production and everything else. But this is balls out black and thrash by the time this release hit. And I don't know if the band's still active or what's going on with them, but Sigils of Ram needs to be put on wax. So if you have a label, I would look into it, man. This bad needs a wax treatment. I'd buy it on vinyl immediately, but it's that fucking good. And I hope that they do something else and that they're still active. I haven't really checked, so I'm not too sure. But fucking great tape. So as far as what I have to show for this video, I do have more stuff coming in. So I'm going to try not to take too long between showings here. But I'll leave you with that. Keep it dreadful. Have a good one. One last thing. So that Skulgan album, I said I was going to show the booklet. And I didn't actually remember to do that. So here I am. So the artwork on here is pretty good. So I thought it was worth to just kind of tap this on the end of this video. So there is the cover. I'm just going to go through it real quick. Really cool horseman art. There's that snake. Nice little hanging dude there. Here's Mr. Cutthroat again. Nice little kind of mountainy kind of drawing. Neat little candles with the skull on top. So there's the booklet as promised. Keep it dry.